Michael, I feel like you're cheating. I feel like you cheated me on this one. And Sean, I feel like you're cheating me.
Well, I thought I'd join in to say hi and thanks for supporting us. Yeah, I think I would like to ask the question is like, when is an idea a bad one? I see there's someone else on the list. It just takes one to get in.
Okay, yeah, we'll get there. That's it. It's always the first question.
How do you work out when something is a terrible idea? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's the question, right?
Yeah.
But so I recently read about Neil Gaiman and Ed Sheeran. Those two together, ironically, if you can believe it, have the same view on ideas. Ideas have one way out of your brain. They get clogged. There's a backlog of ideas in your brain, and they only have one way out, and it's your mouth, or it's through your keyboard or something. The chances are the very first idea you have is not the good one. But the problem that you have as a human is that you sit on that idea and you let it clog up the way out. So the thing that I try and tell people is you are more than your first idea. Because you've had one idea, it means that you have many ideas. So get the first one out and talk to people. That's how you're going to figure out if it's good or not. The trick here is figuring out a good idea versus a crazy idea. Of course, yeah. Oftentimes, crazy ideas are shunned. Nobody thought Airbnb was a good idea. There's an email from that one of the Airbnb founders received. Holy crap, this is dangerous. Please don't do this. I think it was from his mom or something. Like, this is not safe. Don't do this. But they push through, right? And it's up to you to decide on the crazy bad scale where you find yourself. But oftentimes, the idea that you have in a side hustle isn't crazy. It just needs to figure out if it can make money. So for side hustles, very specifically, what I like to tell people is money matters. If your side hustle is not going to make you income, it's just a hobby. And then it's not a good idea. Then cool, call it a hobby, do it for fun, awesome. But if your idea can make money, then you've got something. And I mean, there's so many stories like this. We all try and be innovative. We try and be smart. We try and be clever. But most of the entrepreneurs in the world just do basic things really well. They are efficient. And I've got a good story about this. A friend of mine races Ferraris for a living, and he knows someone who has become 100 millionaire in euros because he retrades tires and sells them.
Wow.
Retrades tires. I mean, here you guys are trying to build this incredible multi-platform video thing. The guy retrades tires.
Yeah.
So it's not the complexity of the idea that makes it good. Often it's the opposite, right? It's the more simple, the more straightforward. So I like to ask people if they can do it better, faster, or cheaper than someone else. Then you've got an idea. So if you're selling a widget for 5% cheaper than someone else, go to the market and tell them it's 5% cheaper, and you've got a good idea. But if you aren't doing it better, faster, or cheaper, and there's already competitors in the space, then you may as well not try. There's no point.
So don't you think there's also an element of how you access that market? Because in some cases, like, your idea may be great, but you have no access to that market. Let's say you're trying to sell something to CEOs, but you're terrible at connecting on LinkedIn, or you're an introvert, or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something that's holding you back in terms of like your ability.
Absolutely. So for the final minute and a half, I'll tell an interesting story about Kevin Hart. So Kevin Hart's movie career absolutely tanked. He thought that at some point in his career, 3 movies were going to kill it, and they just died. So he hit the ground and did what comedians do, went out and did stand-up in every single city that he could think of doing. And in every city, he got everybody's emails. And after 3 years of doing this, he had an email database in the hundreds of thousands, right?
Wow.
Then he started doubling down on those people, sending them amazing content because he knew what city they were in and he knew what they wanted. And then those people told people about it, right? Once he had his own audience, he could sell them anything he wanted. And this is something that I think people mistake. They want to be famous for the sake of famous. I want to have an email database so that I've got a customer base that I know loves everything I do. So the caveat to do you do it cheaper, faster, or better is it's okay if you don't do it any of those 3 things, as long as you have your own dedicated audience that loves you. Then they'll buy anything from you. If people trust you, they will love you. So that's kind of how I think. If you've got an addressable market, then maybe there's a product there that you can talk to, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm going to skip to Sean.